So over here, it is over here. Then it says that imagine, for example, trying to get rid of desire and attachment for someone we find attractive, while continuing to dwell on their attractive qualities. It would all be in vain. Because at that time your mind is concentrating on the state where your mind is suffering, and in that way it's very hard to endure. It means that when you're having this desire and attachment, that's already afflictions. And when you have such afflictions already, and then you focus on the object of affliction, then whatever you're trying would be in vain, because so in such a way, if you keep thinking that, oh, I'm in pain, and this is such bad luck, and so on, your mind is focusing on that negative aspect, or your mind is focusing on the aspect that is attacked by afflictions. Therefore, your mind will be very difficult to endure it. Just as yesterday we talked about how if we continuously to familiarize ourselves with the mind of suffering, then naturally suffering will continuously to grow. That's just the nature of it. In just the same way, if we concentrate only the pain brought by suffering, we'll never be able to develop endurance or the ability to bear it. As in the instruction called the sealing doors of senses, don't latch onto all kinds of mind-made concepts about your suffering. Learn instead to leave the mind undisturbed in its own natural state. Bring the mind home, rest there, and let it find its own ground. I think this is really important. It is normally because people's mind is not at a natural state that is at home. Because their mind is not at home, they would take up extreme actions such as committing suicide or self-harm. If the mind is at its natural state and undisturbed, even the biggest suffering occurs in your life, it would be very difficult for it to harm you. This is quite important. When desire occurs or aggression occurs, those are all deluded thoughts. Those are all are the wrong thoughts, are the deluded thinking, which makes us suffer so much. So mind naturally has two states. One is peace and calm in the relative state. In such a state, you can carry out your action, and whatever you do would be reasonable and would be rather acceptable. So you should make sure your mind stays in that natural state and carry out your actions. I don't think Buddhists would commit suicide or things that's just really extreme like such. When people's mind are very disturbed, all different kinds of evil spirits have the opportunities to take over your mind. Many people wanted to commit suicide. When their mind is so disturbed, then the Maras would be coming to guide you, saying that you will be happier after you commit suicide, and so on. That is why when people are about to commit suicide, they would post posting in social media and saying that I am going to die, which is the better place for me to be, and I'm going to depart this world, and I'm sure after I die, everything would be much better. And then they will jump into the water and commit suicide. So usually, and sometimes it is because of the guidance of Maras, and people didn't do it completely willingly. Therefore, you should supplicate to the Guru as well as the three jewels. Otherwise, as a Buddhist, if you have all different kinds of afflictions, it's really not that great. Now, the next one is also extremely important. Not only you shouldn't think that I don't want suffering. You should be happy when suffering comes. You should think that, oh, I'm so lucky. I am having a bad mood day. I have afflictions. That's really wonderful. I'm quite irritated today. That's wonderful. So practitioners is very unusual in such a way compared to the mundane people, to the non-practitioners, because to the non-practitioners, those are the things that's extremely difficult for them to deal with or to face. But for practitioners, they would treat such kind of adversity as if they're stepping on soft cotton, such as the worldly people would feel great suffering if their parents died, or if they feel that they're bankrupted and so on. But practitioners, they all have a way to deal with it. Of course, you have to continuously to familiarize yourself again and again with great diligence and to continuously open up your own mind. If you cannot do that, then suffering would be suffering and practice would be practice. Doesn't matter if you've already get ordained for years. People would say that I am the lineage I'm from so-and-so lineage, I've practiced for 20 years. If you practice for 20 years, but your mind is not emerged with the Dharma, it's just as it is stated in the aphorism of water and wood. It says that even if you soak rocks in water for 100 years, the rock won't be wet. So it is quite important to change your own mind stream. You have to, of course, this kind of change doesn't take a long period of time, but it has to be very effective because you need to practice diligently and wholeheartedly. That's the way to maximize the strength of your practice. This is quite crucial. If you don't practice diligently, if the efficiency of your practice is not that strong, just simply saying that you chanted so-and-so mantra and stayed in so-and-so centers, then whenever afflictions happen, it's just like you're non-practitioners. There's a military school. People came out from that military school, graduated from there, are extremely brave. Whatever battle they went to, they're really brave. I think in the battlefield of practitioners, if you practice well, you will be extremely brave in front of all of the sufferings or pain that occurs in front of you. If you only listen to classes if you only listen to the class but waste your life and waste your time, I think it is not really useful. And by simply listening to it, it's not very effective and not efficient. Without such efficiency, you're only getting the merit of listening to Mahayana Dharma, but there's really no practical solutions for your life or to face those afflictions. So I really hope everyone could face suffering. I really hope that you can be really strong in the actual actions. If you're only talking about, I need to be strong, I need to be strong, this is not enough. You really have to put it into your practice. You really have to familiarize yourself with the teachings that's stated here. And I truly think that everyone has the potential and everyone has such capacity. The key is whether you can familiarize yourself with your practice. The Buddha said also, I am giving you the teaching of the path of liberation, but liberation is completely depending on yourself. To transform happiness and suffering onto the path, I think I myself have some genuine experiences, because if I have not practiced it when I was young, I don't think you will be attending my classes. Therefore, I think all of you who's listening to it, you definitely spend a lot of time in studying it, in studying the Dharma. I really hope that you try to make this period of time very efficient, to put whatever you've listened into actual practice, into actual familiarization into your daily life, and in such a way you will gain benefit. And once you gain the benefit from such teachings, you can practice it on your own, and you can share it with others, and all such kind of then such kind of teaching will have strength. It will create influence. It's just as in Mahayana teaching, there's peace instructions. But if peace instructions is only on word, then peace instructions is peace instruction, and you are you, and there's a huge gap in between it. Therefore, I hope that you do not grasp only onto the words, but you should take all of the words into your heart. And we'll stop here today.
Sonam dei tamche zubanya thona ni be jana panshi jirgana ji ralong chubai chibum tsonen joba jo